Morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
Man, I did not get to hit the bed until about 2 a.m. That's how I'm doing.
So our major says there was a beautiful sunrise. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, I was doing a little bit of moving around in here. So we got Jamie and Steve and James, His Majesty. Good morning, gentlemen. Good to see you. Hopefully we get a few more tune in shortly. But we're going to start with the lighter side of this. Actually, no. Let's start with. I want you to tell us about Stetson.
Okay, so it's Thursday and we haven't had a toter win in a while, and well, man, let's have a toter win, right? It's toter win Thursday. So Stetson Bennett cried on the sidelines, and man, did he earn it.
Good morning, Maul.
Do men ever cry? Well, yeah, sometimes men cry.
Yeah.
And I mean like manly men cry.
Oh, yeah.
So, Stetson Bennett, just to...
300 yards and iron sights. Got misty.
Okay, so Stetson Bennett, lifelong Georgia fan. I mean, bounces around, goes to the bottom of the depth chart, transfers to a junior college, comes back to Georgia, goes back to the bottom of the depth chart. And then this year, again, he loses the starter job to JT. JT gets hurt. Stetson has to step up and take over. And he's basically a walk-on, okay? Which is one of the rarest things to have happen in sports, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You walk on, and turns out they're like, oh, this guy's not bad. We'll let him play. And all year, despite the fact that Georgia won every regular season game and only lost the SEC title game, but all year, every mistake Stetson Bennett made was scrutinized and picked apart. And he, folks were cruel, honestly. I listened to the local news station, WSB, and WSB is also the big Georgia Bulldogs affiliate. And when the Bulldogs were 8-0, 8-0 as in 8 wins and 0 losses, okay? Stetson Bennett had made a couple of mistakes in that game. And this guy called into the show and said, man, Kirby Smart's an idiot because he won't bench Stetson Bennett and put in JT Daniels. And those guys hung up on him real quick. It was like, when you're 8-0, I don't think idiot is the word we use to describe your coaching style. So anyhow, all this happens. Stetson Bennett goes through all this turmoil. Even his own fans like doubting him and hating him. Then the national title game rolls around and goes all the way to the fourth quarter. Okay, I mean, this was a nail biter.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it came time to really make it happen, when it was the absolute most important, Stetson Bennett had the juice, baby. He had the it factor. He had the thing that you can't quantify until after the fact. Sure, you can say somebody runs the 40 in 10 seconds, or somebody can throw a ball 60 yards, or somebody can kick it the length of the football field. All of that you can quantify. But when shit is on the line, man, there's no way to test that unless it's actually in the game. And since Stetson Bennett decided he's going to toss a 40-yard bomb to put Georgia back on top, like that whole series of events is the reason why Georgia won the national championship. Stetson Bennett stepped up to the plate and did what needed doing. And yeah. Okay.
When this guy so much sack, he protect, he attack. This why no more homo erotic rocket ranches. Got it? Got it. Oh jeez.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't had a we haven't had a good
Haven't had a good toter win in a while. So
it's been a hot minute.
So long story short, whole game's on the line. And what I love is not only did Stetson Bennett cry on the sidelines because, like, it's a little emotional. Yeah. They asked him later, said, what were you thinking? And his answer was like, I'd already decided I wasn't going to lose the football game. And it's like, well, okay, son, that about covers it. Yeah, I mean, so much, man. You messed up by playing the sounder. Now I know you know where it is, and I'm gonna expect it to happen more often on Thursday. No.
Total win, total win, total win, total win, total win. I don't give a rat's ass what the hell you think.
I don't think anybody got fired, but.
no.
Okay, so that was fun. We had a toter win. Now we have to talk about the toter failure. Toter failure. Again, Senator Paul, you are mischaracterizing. You are taking slightly out of context emails that do in fact say exactly what you say, but you wouldn't. Well, they're out of context because you were never supposed to read them.
I think Tim Pool said it best on this one. Dr. Fauci stumbled into one of the classic blunders, the first of which is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but it's only slightly less well known as this: never hold up a blank white piece of paper when you're on the internet. And here's the best part about this infinitely memeable image right here. I want you guys to understand this. If you're not already tracking on this image is not doctored. This is not an image where Fauci's holding up a blank white piece of paper and someone has taken a screenshot of Rand Paul's website where it says "Fire Dr. Fauci," and then superimposed that here so that it appears that Dr. Fauci is pointing at a sign that says "Fire Dr. Fauci." No. In an attempt to suggest under oath that Rand Paul attempted to have Fauci murdered, this is the claim that Dr. Fauci made when he held up this piece of paper. He held up this printout of a screenshot from Rand Paul's website that says "Fire Dr. Fauci" and pointed at it on live television in a Senate hearing. So, holding up a blank piece of paper on the internet is a great way to get memed, because it's really easy with Photoshop to just go in there and I can just trace that out, remove it, copy the fingers, superimpose them over top of it, and I can put literally anything on that piece of paper.
But why?
But why would I? When Fauci has memed himself so perfectly.
The only thing that would make it better would be if he held up a piece of paper that just said something blatantly offensive, like "Fauci is gay."
Or if we replaced the "Fire Dr. Fauci" logo with, I don't know, the recent DARPA documents that prove incontrovertibly that Dr. Fauci, with malice of forethought and absolute awareness, under his own volition, chose, under oath, to lie about the gain-of-function research in Wuhan.
Chris, you're misrepresenting me again. I didn't lie about the gain-of-function.
Specifically,
no, Chris.
The report states that EcoHealth Alliance approached DARPA in March of 2018 seeking funding to conduct gain-of-function research of bat-borne coronaviruses. The proposal, named Project Diffuse, was rejected by DARPA over safety concerns and the notion that it violates the basis gain-of-function research moratorium. Now, there is a lot of noise going on about how this document proves that Dr. Fauci lied about having chosen to fund the Wuhan lab research. And in fact, it does. Fauci has repeatedly maintained under oath that the NIH and NIAID have not been involved in the gain-of-function research for the EcoHealth Alliance program, but according to the documents obtained by Project Veritas, which outlined why EcoHealth Alliance's proposal was rejected, DARPA certainly classified the research as gain-of-function. And then I'm going to come back up to the sentence here. According to the documents, NIAID, under the direction of Dr. Fauci, went ahead with the research in Wuhan, China, and at several sites across the U.S. So it's being treated like the bombshell here is that this proves that Dr. Fauci lied, but I want you to pay closer attention to what's going on here. Much more importantly, what this information, what these documents about the DARPA claims and the DARPA offer and the DARPA rejection prove is that the existing government programs, which in theory are intended to prevent the accidental development of a world-killing pandemic, worked. They rejected the authorization to conduct global extinction event risk-carrying research, and Dr. Fauci personally decided to go around those safeguards to put U.S. taxpayer dollars into the funding of the very research that was actively forbidden by U.S. law and policy.
You know, I'll put aside the Fauci impersonation for a second.
Good, because it's awful.
No, our chat says it's on point. Okay,
I know, but it's right here.
Oh, I see. Okay, but you know,
it's like we had Fran Drescher on the fucking show every morning. Every fucking morning, Cameron. Every single one.
I can't help it that Fauci's still in charge. Okay, as soon as it stops being relevant, I'll stop doing it. That was. Okay, all right.
Admittedly, my Fran Drescher can't be great because I am a competitive back row bass. Or was a long fucking time ago.
Oh my.
When Hillary Clinton was still arguing for socialized medicine.
Oh my. Okay. On the rails. I was just going to point out...
George, it's cold. It's really cold.
Yeah, it's like here in Georgia, but like minus about 20 degrees. That's what it's like where Danny's at. And that's why I like living here and not up there. Okay. It actually all makes sense, though. Sometimes making certain assumptions, and yes, you have to be careful when you make assumptions, but at the same time, like you reach a certain point where it's okay to make small leaps in logic. Like, if corporations like to do business in China because they can pay the workers $1 an hour and don't have to worry about environmental regulations.
Right, and with all that money they save, they can buy really nice suicide prevention nets to put around the high-rises.
Well, but what I was going to say was, if you can break all those rules because, you know, it's a communist country, well, hell, why not go ahead and fund your, like, you know, your umbrella, like, bioweapon terrorist research in China, because it's the same thing.
Omnicorp variant?
Yeah, with the Omnicorp variant, that's right. But it's the same thing. If you want to do gain-of-function research and you don't want to have oversight, you go do it in China. It's the same. I mean, look, it is what it is. So, from the beginning, it's like, so wait a minute. China closed down the province of Wuhan, right? That's what China did. Hey, guys, hello, maybe there's a problem, and it came from China. But meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi wants you to go hug a Chinese person.
Sergeant Major says, so we should say Tony is responsible for the deaths of 800,000 Americans. In all fairness, Sergeant Major, in all fairness to Dr. Fauci, who may be the most prolific individual non-government backed mass murderer. Nope, can't even say that. So he's not Stalin, he's not Pol Pot. And in all fairness of those 800,000 deaths, many of them need to be credited directly as premeditated murders to Governor Cuomo and Governor Whitmer. And basically every blue state governor, because we heard a lot of noise about New York. We heard a little less noise about Whitmer. Is Michigan?
Yes.
Yes. We heard a lot of noise about New York. We heard somewhat less noise about Michigan, but the whole putting sick old people into retirement home nursing homes, things like that, that was pretty much standard fare in most of your blue states, especially your larger blue cities. Cuomo was just the most prolific of them. So we might be able to, on that argument, whittle Tony's responsibility for the deaths of Americans down to 500,000. And that's without talking about his AIDS failures.
Well, I'm going to be really careful as I say this, okay? Because, and I don't want to get into specific numbers, and YouTube, notice this is not Cameron giving any type of medical advice or attempted to make any kind of statement about medicine other than broad generalities, okay, YouTube? Okay. But even Dr. Fauci has admitted that, maybe we've been a little too quick to say people died of COVID.
Yes, it's been just over a week since Fauci himself said out loud on live television, well, there's a difference between people who died of COVID and people who died with COVID. It's like, oh, you mean the thing that we've been saying for 2 years?
The thing that would have gotten us kicked off YouTube for saying 6 months ago.
Did get us kicked off of YouTube.
And Crowder. And God knows how many other channels.
Right. And we were blowing the alarms on the dangers of COVID, because I read a lot of international news. We stay much more broadly informed because we do this show, and I'm just a big frickin' nerd. But we were blowing the alarm on the whole COVID pandemic question as early as early November.
When I was doing the show solo, I was trying to remember the timeline. It was either November or December of 2019 when we first started talking about it.
We were on this. We were talking about how this was going to be a problem, and many of the things that have happened as far as government corruption, as far as government overreach, as far as government overreaction, et cetera, we have predicted to a T, almost to the minute it occurred, since we ran this show. Since we started talking about it on this show. And for example, on one of the predictions, I went ahead and we were already homeschooling my 2 older daughters. My son was in kindergarten, and I went ahead and pulled him out of kindergarten. And then a week later on Monday was when they shut down all the schools. And I talked about it on the show. I said, look, they're about to freak out. They're going to go way too far overboard with this. Yes, it's a problem. Yes, it's a threat. Yes, it's dangerous. But these are some other things you need to consider. But they're about to shut down everything. And they're going to start with the schools. I'm going to go ahead and pull my kid out before I even have to deal with bad traffic as people panic and try to grab their kids. We're just not sending them to school anymore. And I called the school and I said, hey, we're going to start homeschooling my son, and we'll see you, basically never. And then they shut the schools down.
Don't call me, we'll call you.
Yeah. Yeah, believe that. Oh, that's... Whew. We've had some problems with the public schools.
Yes. So, look, okay.
Christradamus. I like that, Dave. You know what?
Christradamus. Well, see...
It's the same thing.
Well, when you look at the etymology of your name, I'm sure you understand there's a slight difference.
Oh, yeah, the saint could tote me across the river. I get it.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. That's a whole different thing. No, but we have been talking about it, and the thing that's really frustrating to me is not only... thanks, Steve. You said it, not me. But the thing that's really frustrating to me is kind of two-pronged, okay? First, the thing that you got to understand, and I've actually thought a lot about the dynamics of power, and I'm starting to come to believe that power is a pendulum. It is always in motion, and all it does is swing. And no matter what direction it swings, it at least temporarily swings too far in that direction. So if you want to use authority to accomplish a task, you better be damn sure that's what you want, because that pendulum is gonna swing. I never dreamed that over a virus, like, and I kind of get off on apocalyptic fantasy. I don't actually want an apocalypse to happen, but it is fascinating, all of the storytelling possibilities. I've even watched apocalyptic fantasy. There was a show that was actually pretty interesting called The Last Ship. At least the first seasons were pretty interesting. It kind of fell off after that, which was literally about the last ship in the U.S. Navy that didn't get infected with the killer supervirus because they were out at sea and quarantined effectively when so there's a lot of this that we've explored in fiction, and one of the things that's just so disappointing to me was if you took the last 2 years and you turned that into a story and like brought it to a Hollywood producer and was like, let's make this movie, they'd have laughed you out of their office. Right? They said that's stupid and that's boring.
Yeah, can't happen.
Yeah, can happen. Can happen. And then whoops, turns out it can happen. And then on top of all that, we haven't been right about everything, but a lot of us and then a lot of y'all us, basically anybody that can think for themselves, anybody that can take a piece of information and analyze it and maybe make a few assumptions and leaps in logic, we have been right more often than we have not been right, okay? Like the whole thing with gain of function. For some reason, that was denied and denied and denied and denied, even though you had guys like the Weinstein brothers talking about, no, you know, we've talked to people that have looked at this bad boy under a microscope, and it looks like its protein coat has been altered in a super specific way. So you've got some of the most brilliant scientists on the planet willing to put their credibility behind it to say...
Sorry, literally, squirrel! Well, there's a window over there, and it just...
I thought somebody was about to walk in the back door that's somewhere in that area.
Well, when it first flashed out of the corner of my eye, that's also what I thought. I thought I was going to have to start throwing bullets at him. Just
literally throwing bullets at
throwing
them. Anyhow, it just, look, it bothers me, like, everything about it, like, where we were right and y'all were right and so many of us were right, just asking the correct questions, just saying, you know, okay, fine, if it infects bats and suddenly jump to humans, that's actually a really rare event. You know, it's a whole lot more likely that somebody did that on purpose. And all of this has come down the pipe. We've been right about all of it. And we and you and all of us are still the crazy people. We're supposedly the conspiracy theorists and the irresponsible ones and the ones who are going to tear down society because we don't want to wear a mask that we now know for a fact has a limited level of usefulness. Okay? Did you... Just to maybe end on a slightly lighter note, brother, did you see the thing on Crowder where, like, the fat white Karen... The
origin of the KKK?
No, where the fat white Karen tried to shame the sassy black dude for not wearing a mask?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to eat my motherfucking
How am I supposed to eat while I got my mask on? I'm just trying to sit here. I'm just trying to eat my food. You come up here, you'll crack a white ass...
He called her farmer's market. I was
farmer's
like,
market bullshit.
That is a slur I have never heard toward white. I have to give you credit. That's good.
Yeah, and in all fairness, for the obvious fact that black people can't be racist because, you know,
all the
discrimination
reasons.
plus power, they certainly have a much larger vocabulary of ethnic distortion than I have heard from even the most ardent white supremacists I've encountered, which is like 3 humans. I've met a lot of people.
You know, you just made me have a thought. I've probably met more black supremacists in my life than
Guaranteed.
I have met white supremacists.
100% guaranteed.
Damn.
It is not numerically possible to be otherwise unless you just...
No,
unless you happen
numerically it should be the other way because there's more white people than black people.
Yeah, funny story.
Wow. Man, why do we have to have these kinds of like little nuggets? Right
Honestly,
when we're like 90
because
seconds
this is something we
from
probably
signing
shouldn't
out.
go too much into
Okay.
detail on.
All right.
But actually, we should do a whole show about black supremacists and black nationalists, because just like white supremacists and white nationalists, they're two completely different creatures. Which is not to defend either of them, or to demean either of them explicitly.
I'm okay with demeaning both, but
Generally, yes, but the statement that the two, well, I guess the four ideologies are distinctly different from one another is pretty substantial. The Rock. Damn, son. We're gonna close on Alex taking away the top comment badge for the day. Y'all be safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow for Firearms Friday. I've got to go to Griffin.